Hi, everybody. Nice to see you here today in today's live video. It is a live draw along, and you can also ask all your questions you have about drawing animals and nature with pastels. We have already live people that are watching. Hello, nice to see you. Also, I invite you to write in the comments from where are you watching. That would be interesting. So from where are you coming? Share that in the comments below. We are live on YouTube and also on my Facebook page. If you then have any questions, please share them also below in the comments. So if you would like to ask something, I will draw a butterfly today. And it is not directly a live drawing session, but you can draw along or just watch. And I would really focus also on answering your questions. Hello, Jackie is watching on YouTube from England. Judith is from the Netherlands. Scott from the United States. Christine from the USA to Pennsylvania. Agneta from Sweden. So that's amazing. Hi, hello. Ruth is also here from Germany. I love that. So people from all over the world are jumping in. And yes, nice to have you here today. First of all, I would like to speak a little bit about my next upcoming online drawing workshop. That is the Joy of Pastels week. I share my screen with you quickly, and I would like to invite you to join that special drawing event. This is happening from February 3rd to 6th. And we will draw a realistic, beautiful dog's eye. And we will draw here also a winter landscape and a sweet bunny in the snow. And in that workshop, I focus on drawing animals, but also drawing nature. And I would like to hold it easy. I only use pencils out of the 24 sets of the Pitt pastel pencils, or you could also use Caputhellos, so that you don't have to buy a lot of material, and these are all the same colors. You get then a workbook after joining with the material list and so on. And yes, that's the focus here in my studio. This workshop is coming up, and this is always amazing. We are drawing together in a community. These are not only live drawing lessons, they are there is the accountability, that community feeling, that drawing together every day. 4 days long, we will draw. The first day, the dog's eye. The second day, a beautiful winter landscape scene. And the last 2 days, we focus then on the bunny. There I will take 2 days with you so that we can draw and bring this little bunny to life on paper. So if you are interested, you find the link in the description. We post it also in the comments now. And please comment with joy, and I send you the link too in your DMs. So I stop sharing on the screen. So this was first the invitation to the Joy of Pastels week. And now I will draw a bit along the butterfly. I will have a look into the comments. Many people are watching. That's great. We have somebody from Japan here. Hello and welcome. USA, Colorado, Netherlands, Canada. Thank you for sharing here all from where you are. We have here for a first question. How can I pay Pastels week without PayPal and credit card? Can I please transfer the money directly to you? Would really love to join. To this that is depending from where you are. If you are from Europe, that could work. From further away, only PayPal and credit card are possible. Please write an email to support@sabinelacknerfeinart.com and we will figure that out. We will find a way. So thank you for asking me that. So yes, then I will share my drawing desk with you, I would say. So, and I will start drawing, and you please pop your questions in the comments. So you should now see my drawing desk. Yes, so I have drawn here this butterfly, very easy, not too many details, and I would like to draw that here again today too. Yeah, Judith, you are from the Netherlands. Okay, write us an email. What time of day with Joy of Pastels classes be? Is Christine asking. The lessons will be at 4 p.m. Central European time, the same time as we have now. And they will also be recorded, and you have access to the recordings afterwards if you cannot be there live. So we draw every day at 4 p.m. Central European time. This is 10 a.m. US Eastern time or 3 p.m. UK time. Okay. Perfect. Yes. So I start now just sketching in the outlines of that butterfly with I have here a sand colored paper. It is pastel matte paper from Clairefontaine. I highly recommend that paper, but for the outlines, I now take a blue. I work today with some greens, blues, a bit violet and pink. So you don't need any specific colors. You can use those colors I use, but you can also use your own if you are drawing along. Let's sketch in a bit the outlines here. Let's do it so I freehand. I like to draw freehand and practice a bit drawing freehand. That always is good to train the eyes. I sketch in the outline of the butterfly here with a blue, then you see that better. And always measure the distances with the eyes. You can also, when you work with a reference photo, you can measure the distances with a ruler. So practicing to drawing freehand, that is also helpful sometimes to get a feeling for the proportions and so on. Just sketch here the outlines in of the wings of the butterfly. We have here these little feelers. And here we have the head. And these lower feelers due to the these lower wings here due to the perspective are a little bit smaller than the upper ones. We don't see them so large here. Sketch in a bit here the outlines. And then also let's draw a leaf. And yes, please keep asking questions about drawing with pastels in general, what you would like to ask. You can take the chance and just ask me today all the questions you have, like in a Q&A session. I add here also these little legs, and then let's draw in here that stem in the middle here of the leaf, the middle vein of the leaf first, and then here some of it, so of a zigzag outline, and here the part of the leaf where the butterfly is sitting on. And let's draw here some zigzags. It will never become exactly the same drawing. Every drawing is always a little bit different from the first attempt. It's also not the goal to copy it directly, so just sketch that in. What I like to do is also always going in the sketch with different colors. So I add here a bit black where the shadows should be right from the beginning, that we bring in here dark parts that we know then later where should we draw the shadows. So I use here the black, I sharpen the black a bit, and bring in here where the body is, around the body a little bit black, and below the body and also draw these little eyes right away. Here we have then also these feelers. Add below the body a bit black. And here a bit black between the wings. The inner part here is then also darker. So what is helpful is to sketch in the darker parts right away a bit. Okay, and here I also add another leaf. Okay. Yes, hello. We have some comments with joy. We will send you the link. Good morning into the USA. Thank you for watching. Okay, if you have questions, please pop them below. I want to answer some questions also while I'm drawing. I have here a question. How do you draw your sketch? So so there are different methods, like here today, drawing the sketch freehand is always good to train your eyes. You can do that freehand. You can do it with, for example, the grid method, so that you use squares and draw the squares on your printed reference photo. I use here a flash color now for the underpainting on the wings in the middle. So you continuing answering the question about the sketch, when you use the grid method, you can draw squares in a size 1 centimeters or 2 centimeters on a printed reference photo, and then transfer that grid to your drawing surface, to your drawing paper, and then you have these little squares, and you have a better orientation, and just draw the outlines inside of those little squares freehand. That's a very helpful method. Or you just use helping lines. So some lines around the eyes, for example, or in some important areas of your animal, for example, around the nose, and use that for a better orientation. Or you can also use, for sure, transfer paper. I can recommend the transfer paper from Saral. That's the company Saral that works really well. Make sure that it is not graphite. So no graphite transfer paper. It can be carbon transfer paper. It should be acid-free. And then you can for sure transfer also your outlines. And another method is I use now a light blue around the wings here at the edges. Another method is to put pastel pigment with a soft pastel stick on the back side of the printed reference photo, so on the paper, and then put the reference photo on top of your drawing paper, and just take then a graphite pencil, like when you use tracing paper, and trace around the most important parts, and then you have also nice outlines on your paper. When you are doing that, I recommend not to press directly on the area on the photo where you have applied the pastel pigment, to avoid that you bring in then the little pastel pigments everywhere on to your drawing area. Okay, so different methods of drawing, and no worries, drawing is not cheating. That question is also often appearing. If you don't draw a freehand, is that cheating? So many artists, many famous artists also use a method for bringing in the outlines. The most important thing is the layering process, to bring in values and contrast, and to bring your animal to life then on paper too. And it's also is helpful and makes it easier for the start, that you don't focus many hours on bringing in the right proportions. Focus at the beginning on the layering process. That is much more helpful. Of course, later on, you can then always practice to draw freehand. So like we do here today, it is also fun to do that from time to time. So don't worry, tracing is not cheating. And here I bring in a bit more white then here in the middle of the body, plotting also a little bit white, and let's add here a bit white on the feelers. And then I also add here a bit of a white outline around the wings of that sweet little butterfly with the white. Bringing in here first, so a bit of a white around the wings, and also here. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm happy to answer your questions. I have here another one. A very important question: what paper do you recommend? So most of you who are following for a longer time, you know I always recommend the pastel matte paper from Clairefontaine, because it's my absolute favorite paper, and many pastel artists are drawing on that. It allows so many layers. It is a very high quality pastel paper. So the pastel matte paper from Clairefontaine is highly recommendable. So I can highly recommend that. It costs a little bit more, but it is so worth for the beginning. So to invest in that, you will have it so much easier. You will, your drawings will become so more beautiful, and you will get so much better results. It is definitely worth to invest in a good pastel paper because the layering is possible so much better. So you can draw many layers. It allows to draw more layers than other pastel paper you're used to. And here now I use a paper stamp for blending and blend the first base layers here together. So you can imagine that pastel matte paper that has so little valleys and mountains, and with each layer you apply pastel pigment, and with each layer you apply a thin amount of pastel pigment into these spaces between the valleys and mountains. And at some point then these spaces are filled up with pastel pigment, and then there is no space between these little valleys and mountains, and then you cannot draw anymore over it. When you imagine you draw fur and then your paper is saturated. That means that you cannot add more layers. These spaces are filled out with pastel pigment, and when your paper then is saturated, your lines start to smear and smudge. And on paper that does not allow these layers, then you cannot build up your fur or your structure you would like to draw when you're drawing animals with as many layers as you want, and you have then that smeary and smudgy feeling. So for especially animals and our furry friends and drawing feathers, that's important. Also for drawing human portraits when you draw hair and so on. Also when you draw details in landscapes. For more blurry backgrounds, that's not so the matter. When you mix the layers together, then you can also use other papers. An alternative would be the new paper, the Meat and Velvet from Casson. That's another alternative, but the best option, in my opinion, is still the Pastel Mat from Clairefontaine. So then I will here then, so we have now drawn the base layer. Always blend the base layer really very well. So I use here a paper stamp for blending. You can also go over a bit finally with the finger when it's clean. Be careful that you bring in any wax or oil or other things on your portrait. You can also use some cotton swabs for blending. Make sure that your paper color is not shining through. And blend the first base layer very well. It's so nice. You can mix the pastels really very well together. We also experiment with blending colors together in the Joy of Pastels week, then beginning of February, with the landscape drawing. That's fun to mix the pigments together, create soft, smooth transitions. That's a nice thing with pastels. You can mix the colors directly on the paper. Blend them together like with paint. Then I take a violet and then I bring in a little bit violet here, so on top of the wings, or so move the pencil, take a violet pastel pencil and move it upwards and downwards and bring in some violet strokes onto the wing. Use what I always recommend is work with a very light hand, work with a very little pressure. And don't press too much. So go over here and move the pencil forward and backwards and draw some lines with the violet here in. And if you would like to ask something, please just pop your questions in the comments. Pop them below the video. I'm happy to answer your questions. Also do here a little bit, plot in a little bit violet below on the wings. And I draw some transparent lines here, moving the pencil forwards and backwards. And really, they can be transparent. And then I take a paper stamp and blend that a bit. So first, remove grid if you have some dots on your lines, for example, or just so swipe over with a blending tool. This is a paper stamp, a blending stamp, and blend over and make it a bit softer. Remove a grid and so on. Blend the layers together. Okay, and when another question is what blending tools can you use, because that's now matching to the blending process. So a blending tool I use really very often. These are these blending stamps here, the paper stamps, and they are nice for blending small areas in your drawings and also the base layers. And then I use these cotton swabs also. They are nice for blending larger areas, or like here the wings. And what's also nice for landscapes and so are these soft blending sponges. You can then blend larger areas with them. And another nice tool is a very thin cotton swab or Q-tip where you can blend very fine areas. I have ordered them because some of my members in my online drawing school Animal Art Club have discovered them and found them, and I wanted to test them too, and they are really great for very small areas to blend. So these are very nice tools. You can find them on Amazon. So very thin Q-tips. So then I go in with a black again and darken down here the black areas. Also drawing these wings and so on is a layering process and going in with different colors. I darken after blending here the shadow areas, bringing in here a bit black also below the body or here above the body a bit, and use other blue tones too. Let's bring in a darker blue. It's here, so a middle blue tone in, and bring it here a little bit in at the lower parts. And also here where we have the black inside of the wings, I add a bit of a darker blue, and here below, and increase the contrast, and then blend again with the paper stamp. Just read in the comments if you have questions. Yeah, we have here, what brands of pencils do you use? I draw with the Pitt pastel pencils from Faber-Castell. These are my absolute favorite pastel pencils, the Pitt from Faber-Castell. And I use today also some Pastels from Stabilo. I hope you can read that. Stabilo Pastels. They are a bit softer. Normally for animals with fur, I absolutely love Pitt pastel pencils. They are harder. They have a harder lead and they are nice for drawing details. I highly recommend to invest into the Pitt pastel pencils for the start when you would like to work with the pastel pencils. And then later on, the Pastels are also a good choice. They are a bit softer. They have a higher color aberration, so you have more pastel pigment faster on your drawing paper. But they have beautiful colors. They have a different color range. They are nice also for landscapes, for blurry backgrounds and so on. And you can combine them for sure also with the Pitt pastel pencils. So the Pitts are my absolute favorite. So I have here another question. I believe my Pitt pastel said they were medium, but there were no other options like soft or hard. Are you using medium? So in my opinion, only medium is available with the white. The white Pitt pastel pencil is available in two different options, like medium and hard, but all other Pitt pastel pencils only have one option, so there is no choice. Okay, so then I've blended here the blue a little bit. We can also then brighten up with the pink a little bit with white. You always can brighten up your colors directly on the paper a bit with a white. Plot in a little bit white and mix it together with other colors. So I add here some lines in white, moving the pencil forwards and backwards. Also here, add some lines with the white here directly on the wings. Moving it so forwards, backwards, or just draw some lines to bring in a little bit of a structure in those wings. These lines can overlap. Draw them fine and thin just to create, so here, a bit of a structure that is transparent on those butterfly wings. You can also draw the lines with a little pressure over the blue. Rotate your pencil while you are drawing so that you use all edges of the lead, and brighten up the wings a bit. And then take a blending tool. So take a cotton swab or a paper stamp and blend over again and make everything softer. So make it here softer, blend over it carefully. Don't remove the white lines, but make them a little bit more transparent so that you just brighten up the part you have drawn before. I also go in a bit with a turquoise green. This is so a bit of a helio turquoise. And I add then that color a little bit in also here where we have done the underpainting with the blue. Go in with another blue tone. Just choose another blue color, another blue, either a darker blue or a lighter blue. Just that we have different blue tones here in, and bring in a bit, so some strokes or lines into the wing with a bit of a turquoise blue here in that case. Some lines can be a bit longer. Some lines a bit shorter here. Okay, here we have another question from Lucille. How do you sharpen pencils? That's a great question. So, sharpening the pastel pencils, that's always so a special thing, because unfortunately they break easier than, for example, graphite pencils or colored pencils. Sometimes they break really easily, and it can end a bit frustrating. I have also tested a lot. What I like to do and prefer is to use such double metallic sharpeners, just so simple metallic sharpeners you can get in a paper store, and sharpen then the wood away. And then only the front part of the lead, so that I only remove a little bit of the pastel pigment. So here, only the colored part during the drawing process. These pencils become blunt very quickly. That's the sad thing. You cannot buy so many of them. That would be not good for the environment for sure. And also you have a lot of waste. So what's the better option is to use a craft knife or another knife you have, and cut away the wood. So like here, cut away the wood, and then use these double metallic sharpeners. So I just cut away the wood. Where let's have a look if I have a blunt pencil here. Yes, for example, that one. So cut away the wood. I do that in that way. That is fast. And then either you use it like it is, or I then take these double metallic sharpeners and put the front part here in and just sharpen the front part. And then you have a nice sharp point and can draw with it. So, and then I remove that. Normally I do it not directly on the drawing, but that you see this, and then you can use it here for bringing in fine strokes again. So that method I do all the time while I'm drawing the portraits. There are also other Possibilities. Some of my students in Animal Art Club prefer to use sandpaper. Not everybody can work with the craft knife, or there are different preferences. So maybe for you, a sandpaper works better to then sharpen the front part of the lead. Or there are also electric sharpeners available, or there are available so manual sharpeners where you sharpen the pencils manually. So I personally prefer the method here, and I'm also fast with that, but you have to figure that out, what works best for you. But sharpening the pastel pencils is always the first question, and an important question for sure. Okay, then let's go in a bit with the darker color. So I add the black here a bit. So add a bit black by moving the pencil upwards and downwards here around. Also here, so draw a bit of a zigzag line here, bringing in a bit of the black. Yes, and if you have any more questions about the Joy of Pastels week we are doing beginning February, please ask. If you have any questions about drawing with pastels, please ask. I'm happy to answer. Let's have a look. How much is the Joy of Pastels week? You can join the Joy of Pastels week for $10, and you get access to all the drawing lessons, a community with like-minded people around the world, feedback. You can get also feedback on your drawings. We do Q&A calls where you can also ask your questions you have for your own drawing you have created. Maybe you feel stuck and want to get help. There will be bonus lessons and fun activities. So it's not only drawing lesson, it's more a community event. You can also connect with your like-minded peers. And we had also that in these events, in these workshop events, people found each other. They found out that they live near to each other. So people from Canada met in my programs and are now real friends in real time. So that's amazing what these online workshops make possible. That's so fun. Or a drawing course participant of mine from Australia met another one from England because she came originally from England. So that's really so fun. And you can also connect with people. We have Americans there, Canadians, Australian participants, and of course from the United Kingdom, Europe, the Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Italy, Spain, Sweden. So many different countries participate in the workshops. Comment with Joy below and we'll send you the link if you're interested in joining the Joy of Pastels week. So I just draw here now these black lines on the wings with the black pencil. You can use different amount of pressure to create sometimes some a bit thicker lines, and then reduce pressure for thinner lines and so on. Here below I use a little bit less pressure for the finer lines here. Bring in so a bit of a structure into the wings of that butterfly. Maybe let's add here another one. And I go over the eyes once more and plot in a little bit more black here below. Hello, Joyce. Joyce is also here. Joyce is a student of mine. Nice to see you. Here is a question. Do you like the new Casson Mitent velvet paper? So I have ordered it, of course, and when the hype started and it came out, and I have tested it a little bit so far. I have also drawn, so first only the black pad was available. I have now also ordered the brown one. I have first tested the black Kasumi tent velvet and was really amazed, so fascinated what's possible. I have drawn white fur on it. I have also a video on the YouTube channel, and I have also drawn a dog's eye on it, and colors really came out brilliant and beautifully. And also the layering process worked nearly similar with the pastel mat. So the black one I really liked. I then also have drawn a horse, a brown horse on the black paper for my students in my Academy Animal Art Club. And I really liked it. It's a little bit different in the layering process, I must say. So I still prefer the pastel mat paper. I'm used to it and I absolutely love it. But as an alternative, it also works. With the brown paper, I have started to test it, the brown tones, and started to draw a horse on it. But so there were boundaries. So I could not layer the hairs as I wanted, as I'm used with the pastel mat. You have to handle it a little bit differently, but it's definitely an alternative if you cannot get the pastel mat paper, I would say. Or last year there were these quality issues that the pastel mat paper was a bit rougher. Sorry. And then, of course, the concomitant velvet is an alternative, but I would first always try to test the pastel mat paper. Okay. Another question here from Monica. Do you also take pastel sticks or pen pastels? So yes, I really like to use pen pastels or sticks like these sticks, either Sennelier or Rembrandt soft pastel stick for backgrounds, or for landscapes, or for easier styled pastel paintings. They're really nice. They are soft and you have a lot of pigment on your paper fast. So when you apply that, you can blend them really well together. You have a thick layer on the paper and you can create some nice blurry backgrounds. I also like to use a black Rembrandt stick. I have no here, not any here yet, but the black from Rembrandt is a very deep, dark black color. And I like to use that also in animal portraits, but then you have to blend the base layer really well because these sticks are so soft and you have such a high color aberration, you have filled up the paper fast and quickly with the pigments. And then you cannot draw these fine lines on top. So for animal portraits and detailed portraits, animals, humans, or detailed trees and flowers, I prefer to draw with the pencils. But for blurry backgrounds, I also use the sticks. And the pen pastels, they are also nice. So I've started here to draw in a little bit of fur, so to speak, on the body. So some black lines into the body and also from above downwards. And we can also go in here a bit with a blue and add some blue lines then on top. It's a bit like drawing fur here on the body of that butterfly to make it a bit hairy, so to speak. And then also take a white and add with the white some white little hairs. You see that white is also a bit blunt, but when you use the right amount of pressure and rotate it, you can also still create with a bit of a blunt pencil fine hairs. You don't have to sharpen your pastel pencils all the time, I would say. Okay, yes, so our butterfly is coming more and more together. I draw also here some white lines a little bit into the wings. Or also here, draw in some white lines into the wings. Do you have any questions? Please ask. I'm really happy to answer your questions. A question that often appears and is asked is this one. Do I need a fixative spray for my finished pastel drawing? So, it is used to use fixative with pastel paintings to fix the pigments on the paper and that you don't smear and smudge over it. But for my animal portraits, and these are more drawings with the pencils than paintings, I don't use a fixative, and I also don't recommend to use one because at the beginning, I've tested it out. I've used the fixative spray for charcoal drawings, and that worked really well. But I tried it out with the pastel portraits, and then I was very disappointed because the fine details, like here, these fine white hairs disappeared and colors changed. Colors became darker and everything appeared so dull after using the spray. Of course, it depends what brand of spray you're using and what how much of the spray you apply. But I did not have good experience with that, and so I decided to do it not, and it works so well, especially when you use the pastel matte paper from Clairefontaine, because the pastel pigment sticks so well on the paper, and you don't, even if you put it here, if you hold it with the finger on it, nothing, so you really have to swipe over to destroy it. So if you handle it with care, and also if you ship your work, for example, package it with care between two cardboards or foam boards, then it is really well protected, and then protected behind. So frame it with a passepartout or with so mounted, and then you also have a bit air between the glass. Then they are really well protected. So I definitely would not use a spray. Okay, so now I would say let's draw the leaf. So let's draw the green leaf where the butterfly is sitting on. So I plot in first a light green as an underpainting. So I take a May green and plot that in. As this is a larger area, you could also here, for example, work with a stick. I don't have many green tones because I don't use a lot of sticks. I have a set of the Rembrandts and a set of the Sennelier pastel sticks, but as I normally work with the pastel pencils, and I love the pastel pencils, greens are not so many here in my range of the sticks, so I use the pencils. You always can do your base layer with the pencils for sure. And here near the animal, near that little butterfly, of course, pencils work better. Here I plot in also a little bit the light green here near near the butterfly. It would be also great, good when you just start with a darker color, but we can also darken it down then afterwards and do the whole base layer with the light green here. Also, the middle, the stem and the vein here in the middle can be light green. So plot in. When I'm doing larger areas, I move the pencil faster and plot in here faster the amount of the pastel pigment, and also use a bit more pressure. Maybe that with the Pick pastel pencils, I cover the paper well, that the yellow paper in that case does not shine through. Maybe you have to go over with another layer then and add another layer of pigment, and then use a blending stamp or a cotton swab and blend the first base layer well. So blend over it. Let's have a look. If you have any more questions, please pop them below the video. Write them in the comments. Write them below. I would love to answer your questions. Just search if I see any other questions. Yes, here is this question is also a good one. How can I clean the paper stamps? So, you know, when you're blending with the paper stamps, like this one here, I have here, you see a bit dark pastel pigment on it. I have started here to blend below the butterfly with that. Then I can use that pigment intentionally and darken down here the part below the butterfly and start here blending and then continue blending with the green. But if you don't want that and you have here a lot of pigment on it, you can take a knife and just so cut away the paper in that case and sharpen it or clean it, better to say, and just so clean it, cut away a bit of paper, and then you have a thin point that is clean, and then you can here continue blending without bringing in any dark pigment into your layers. So that's also a nice option how you can clean your pencils. If you don't have any questions, tell me in the comment who of you is drawing along. That would be interesting. Are there people that are drawing along, or are you just watching? That video is also then on YouTube. It will stay, so you can also draw it afterwards. Are you a beginner or are you more advanced? That would also be interesting. I see people are watching on Facebook and on YouTube. That's nice. So tell me in the comments if you are interested in learning that technique or if you're already drawing with pastels. That would be nice to know. Christine is drawing. Great. That's nice. So what are the others doing? I would be interested in that. So here I go in with the white and brighten up the stem then a little bit, add some highlights here. And also go in with a darker green. So I take here the darker green and plot that in a bit here below the butterfly. Bring in here a bit shadow below the butterfly. And also so here, left a bit with the darker green and below the middle vein. Let's also add here a bit shadow. These white lighter strokes I will do then on top when I've plotted in a little bit of different green tones. That's the nice thing when you are using the right paper, that you can draw with lights over darks. Bring in here a bit of a darker green. And then take a cotton swab and blend it a bit. So I'm taking here the cotton swab and mix the light green with the dark green. Blend the dark green. I blend also a little bit over that middle part here, the veins, and color it a little bit green. Here, go over a bit. Okay. I'm drawing a long East Czechy writing. I'm painting with pastel sticks, is Monica writing. Watching on YouTube, will do the drawing tonight? Okay, great. So you can also darken down colors with black, add a bit more shadow below the butterfly here, or below the middle part here. I also darken that down a little bit more with the black. Create a darker green tone and blend the green layers together with the cotton swab here. Mix it a bit. You can also blend upwards and downwards in all directions you would like. For smaller areas, also always paper stamps work better. So around the butterfly, for example. And yes, then I would say I sketch in these lighter lines with an ivory. That's a very light yellow. Ruth is writing, I'm drawing the chimpanzee and listening to the questions and your answers. I'm not a beginner, but you can learn always something new. That's right. Ruth is a member of Animal Art Club, where we have a chimpanzee for in the January drawing lessons. Thank you for sharing. I used colored pencils, however, used sometimes pastels. I have a set of color which are cheaper than Faber-Castell. That's also fine. You can use any brand you like. Yes, Ruth, you're a member of Animal Art Club. Thank you for sharing. Diane is a beginner. So I'm drawing then here with a light yellow with an ivory color, these little veins on the side of the leaf, drawing in here some strokes in a lighter color. You can also do that with white and brighten up here, add a bit highlight on the upper side of the middle vein and the stem. And here I also go around the leaf with some highlights a bit. We can also do that then later when we have done the background. We will also then add that green background. And then bring in again a different green tones. Maybe go over again with another dark green. Here below, in the middle, I've been only drawing for 1 year. Yes, that's also nice. So completely different stages. Some are drawing longer, some are totally beginners. That's really great. Great to hear. Are you drawing with pastel pencils, or what medium are you using most of the time, those who are drawing longer? So I felt in love with the pastel pencils, so I just want to make the light here a bit. I fell in love with the pastel pencils when I discovered them. That was really my favorite medium. So are you drawing with different mediums or only with the pastels? Are you discovering, or would you like to discover the new technique? Or I personally started with graphite pencils, black and white, and then I tried also colored pencils, but I really fell in love with the pastels then very, very quickly. So here I go over with different greens and then also blend them together and blend them together with the light greens and try to create smooth transitions here between the veins towards the edges. If you have strokes on the paper, you can add more layers. So go with another leaf green over it, add another layer. When you're working with the pits, then you need more layers for these areas. If you're working with softer pastel pencils, maybe you don't need as much pigment. So that's a bit of an experiment, how much pigment you need to create that nice smooth transitions here. Okay, any other questions? Pop them in the comments, pop them below. I would love to answer more questions too. And if you're interested, I would love to see you in the Joy of Pastels week in 2 weeks. We have already many signups, so that will be a nice community event. I'm so looking forward to draw the dog's eye, the winter landscape, and the sweet bunny in the snow. These are nice winter subjects. You can find the link in the description, but you can also comment with Joy and we send you the link. Judith is drawing with Faber-Castell pencils, as I love to do pastel drawings, but only have the experience from school. Too much years ago. Yes, many people love drawing at school, and then it's so long ago. So let's reignite that passion for drawing. I also came away with drawing after school and then started drawing 15 years later. So that's always nice to come back. I don't know why I am so overlighted here on my camera. I switch off the light. That does not help. Sorry if I am a ghost here on the camera. Okay. Annie's writing, she is used to draw with colored pencils and new to pastels that night. You have purchased Faber-Castell pencils but have not tried using them, just watching how to use them. Oh, that's great. You have already ordered them. So you will love them, I'm sure. Okay, so blend the layers together here really well. Create soft transitions. You can also add a bit yellow, maybe here on the middle vein, and go over with the yellow a bit. This is a cream, a lighter yellow, and add a bit of green at the lower part of that stem. I also add here a bit of shadow at the lower part of that stem. And if that is gritty, blend a bit over with a paper stamp. Okay, then let's also do that smaller leaf here with a light green. And plot in the light green and blend it with the paper stamp. Blend over it. And then I go in with an ivory, or you can also take white and add here some little veins on the sides. And add a bit dark green here in the middle. Plot in a bit dark green. Go in here with the dark green and blend a bit with the paper stamp. Blend over it. So, and blend the layers together. Let's take also the black and add a bit more shadow. So like here at the lower part of the leaf, or here on the right, a bit shadow, and blend over it. When you're drawing, it's always so a combination of light and darks and using the right values. Not always it's important to use the right colors. More important is to use the right values, and so the bringing contrast, bringing lights and darks and light reflections to let your drawing look realistic. Okay, then let's bring in a little bit of blurry backgrounds. So I take a bit of a turquoise color. Here for the blurry background, I use a Caputhello. It's a turquoise blue Caputhello. It's so a helio blue, I would say, and plot in here a bit of the turquoise color around. The Caputhellos you see are softer when you use, for example, such a color of the pits. This is a bit darker, but does not matter. I'm thinking you don't see that, but you have the feeling that more paper is shining through. There you would need a bit more pressure. And with the Caputhellos, you have a lot more pigment on the paper faster. And then blending is also working easier. So you have then more pigment on the paper, and you can use then a cotton swab and blend over it. Here I'm careful between these tips of the leaf, and blend the layer really well with the cotton swab. I also go over a bit more with a dark green. You can mix all different kinds of colors. Go in a bit with the dark green and also with white. For example, bringing in a bit of the Rembrandt white here. It is also softer, so a soft pastel stick. And then mix the layers together. These are not oil pastels, they are dry pastels, because if you use oil pastels, they are not, you cannot blend them so easily together. You see that's totally powdery. So these are soft pastels. So the powdery pastels, there is a lot of pigment here on the paper because I have used the soft pastel stick here, and you see you have so much more pigment on the paper than if you would like to use the sticks, the pencils, when you use only, for example, a white, let's do it here above, a white pit pastel pencil. Plot that in. You see here the paper is shining through, and let's say a bit of a green here. It's not so opaque at the beginning, and when you then blend over, you don't see this powder on the paper here, and it's also a bit hard to blend them together when you don't use more pigment. Then I would go over again with the white and plot in more white, plot in more pigment, and also more green. So another layer, and then blend it together, and then it is working also that you do a blurry background with the pit pastel pencils. You just have to use a bit more layers. And here you have these loose pastel powder on the paper, but that's nice to create these blurry backgrounds and mix them together easily. I go over with the finger here and just push the pigment into the paper. Then above, so I take again a green, add a dark green and bring that in here. So below that light green leaf, and also here on the left. Here I use the pit now in these smaller areas, plot in a dark green. So also here around the butterfly and a bit of light green. So a leaf green here above by I try to bring in the same colors as I have used on the original drawing. Plot in, of course, your pencils are blunt faster here when you're plotting in a lot of pigment for the background with the pencils. Then you have to sharpen them more often. So for larger blurry backgrounds, sticks definitely have an advantage because you need a lot of the pigment of the pencils when you're doing blurry backgrounds with the pencils. But that is not such a large drawing. Let's also use a bit of, I would say I have here, so an earth green color. Let's have a look. There it is. Here, so an earth green, that's so a bit of a gray green. I plot it also here in a bit and mix it here in a little bit. So try to mix in different colors you have. I plot it in here, that is earth green around the leaves. The first stage always looks ugly, but then you of course have to blend the layers. I add here a bit more of the turquoise green. You can just add here some stains or layers of different colors, and when you then use the blending tool, then you can bring the blurry background together and blend these layers, make everything smooth and soft. Here we can then draw over. Oh, now I have removed my leaf here above, but we can draw it again. So you can also blend a bit over the feelers here. We can draw them again. Just make everything smooth with the cotton swab. Blend over it and create a bit of a blurry background. Do you have any more questions? Pop them in below in the comments if you would like to know anything. I also go over with the finger a bit and maybe add a bit more white. You then can add another layer. I plot in here above a little bit more of a white Rembrandt, so white Rembrandt soft pastel stick, and then take either the finger a bit and mix the layers, or take a cotton swab again and mix the white a little bit downwards towards the butterfly here. Here I have to draw the leaf then again, but here you see when you use the cotton swab, you remove a bit of the pigment. With the finger, you push it into the paper again. So blend a little bit around the butterfly. I also want to make that here a bit smoother on here on our left. So I add a bit more green over that part here. A little bit of a lighter green, and then blend it again. Always, if you have strokes, add another layer, add more pigment. Then you can blend it easier together. Make it blurry. Maybe go in here a little bit with a turquoise near the butterfly. Add another layer of color. Add more pigment if you have any strokes somewhere, and make it so just a bit softer and let the colors go into each other. Here below to blend over it. Okay, so here above I have removed my leaf, so let's draw it again. I also go in a bit with a green, a darker green that we see that better here. Okay, and then with a bit of a darker green, I also bring in here on the leaf itself some little lines maybe, or a little bit of a texture, that it is not only a smooth area. You can, of course, draw as many details you would like, but let's also add here a bit shadow below the lighter veins. Here on the right side, add a bit shadow on the right of them. And go in with white and add again. So I really have to sharpen now my white. Then I add the white, the sharp white pencil, and go over the middle part here again, and also add with the white some so smaller strokes as outlines, or make it so a little bit fringy. So add some fringes around here. It's a bit like hairs, just to refine that leaf. Or add a bit of a light reflection outline here in that case. And what I also then want to do is I go around this leaf once more with white, draw over the little feelers once more, and also around the outline of the butterfly, and add here some lines that are overlapping the background, and also here that are overlapping the background and overlapping the leaf. The same here below, that some lines are going over the leaf. Just go around and let some white strokes here overlap. That's always that you have to refine your drawing then finally. And then also take a black and let's bring in some details on the feelers and also draw the legs. So let's add here, I draw again also over the eyes, and then add here some little dots and draw the feeler part here, the black part on the front again, and add here some little dots or small little stripes. And let's also draw here this little feet again. Maybe add a bit white, a light reflection, and use the black and add with little pressure. Here again, a bit of a darker line on that wing. Or also go over here again. So finally, you can make all different kinds of adjustments. But I think our drawing for today really looks good. So we are nearly live for 1.5 hours. So thank you for all your nice questions you have asked today. Sorry. I will also sign the drawing with this. So always add a signature to your drawings. And yes, I hope you have enjoyed watching and asking questions. So I stop sharing the screen and jump back and switch off the light. Let's see if you see me now. So better. It's a little bit okay. With the lightning that I have to test. So here it is working better that you see me. So thank you for watching the draw along. If you would like to draw it, watch the recording. It is available on YouTube and also on Facebook. Do you have any other questions? If you would like to join the Joy of Pastels week, please comment with Joy and we send you the link in your DMs, and below in the comments you find the link to join also in the description. I would love to welcome you there and draw with you together too if you would like to draw more with pastel pencils. Wow, such a beautiful drawing. Thank you, Judith. So thank you for that. Yes, it's so fun to draw with the pastels. Thank you for a great draw along and all the tips. Thank you for your demo, very enjoyable. So thank you too. I'm happy you liked it. And yes, I also do that next Monday again. So join me again next Monday, same time, 4 p.m. Central European time. I will think about another fun subject. Yes, comment Joy below, and we send you the link for the Joy of Pastels week. That will be fun. We will draw live every day, and you can also get feedback there. We will have prizes, bonuses, fun lessons. Okay. Thank you for joining today. Maybe I see you next Monday or in the Joy of Pastels week. And you don't forget to follow me on social media, on my Facebook page, or subscribe to the YouTube channel you're watching on. I would love to see you in the next videos. Thank you. Have a great day, either it's evening or midday or wherever you are. So enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, and enjoy drawing. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.